Hello, my dear students. From today, we are going to start new lecture series in plant physiology. If you are studying in UG, that is in BSc, MSc, or even if you are preparing for the NET and the SET examination or any other competitive examination in life sciences like the JAM, then also this lecture series will be helpful to you in preparation of the subject. In this lecture series, we will basically focus on the different topics which are included in the UG and PG syllabus of plant sciences. And this will help to you through easy teaching as well as different tips and tricks so that you can remember the subject forever. Because if you know the plant physiology, then always there is necessity to read it continuously. And I am very much hopeful and confident that this lecture series will help you to fill this lacuna. So friends, myself, Dr. PITAMBAR HUMANE, founder Botany for You and working as Associate Professor and Head Department of Botany, Dharampeth M Deo Memorial Science College, Nagpur, Maharashtra, India. And I welcome you all in this online platform for the students of life sciences. Friends, if you are new or not yet subscribed our YouTube channel, then kindly like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel Botany for You. And also press bell icon for the alerts of different lecture to be uploaded on various titles in life sciences. So first of all, in this first lecture in plant physiology, that is introduction to plant physiology, what will be in upcoming lectures that we will see. So let's see first of all the content of upcoming lectures in this lecture series. In complete lecture series, in upcoming lectures, the content will be the plant cell, then water, solution, suspension and colloidal system. We will not take this one here because it will be taken under the cytology and there is no necessity to teach the same topic again in the plant physiology. Physical and the chemical properties of the water, which are very much essential to understand the physiology. Then the most important topic, that is the diffusion, osmosis and the imbibition, plasmolysis, etc. Then absorption of water, how the plants are absorbing the water from the ground. Then transpiration and the guttation. Then ascent of sap, that is the translocation of the water. Then absorption of the mineral salts, as the minerals are absorbed by a different process and they are not at all used with the water only. Then mineral nutrition in plants, then nitrogen and the sulfur metabolism, then enzymes, photosynthesis, which is the backbone of the plant physiology, then special mode of the nutrition like the plants which are responsible to trap the different insect, that is the insectivorous plants, then carbohydrate metabolism. After the formation or the synthesis of the carbohydrate, there is a utilization of the carbohydrate in the body and that is given in the carbohydrate metabolism. Then lipid or the fat metabolism, how the lipid or the fats are used in the body in the plants. Then translocation of the organic solids. After the photosynthesis, there is a synthesis of the carbohydrates, that is the organic solids, and this is transported to each and every part of the body, so that is given in the translocation of the organic solids. Then respiration, again one of the topic from the plant physiology, which is backbone. Then growth and the growth hormones. We know there are the different growth hormones in the plant body, which we will study in this chapter. Then photosynthesis, then vernalization, then germination and the dormancy, plant movements, then again circadian rhythms, then stress physiology, then secondary metabolites, then photomorphogenesis and bioinergetics. So most of the topics which are included in the UG and the PG syllabi, and even in the syllabus of the NET and the SET, that will be covered through this lecture series. So step by step, we will see each topic one by one, and then we will actually start the teaching in the plant physiology from the second lecture. So the plant cell, we know that there are the presence of the cell wall, plasma membrane, then cytoplasm, nucleus, and different cell cytoplasmic organelle which are responsible to carry out the different metabolic processes, that is the anabolic and the catabolic processes. And whenever we are studying the different processes which are carried out by the plant cell or the tissues or the organ, that are studied under the plant physiology. So if you see this plant which is responsible for the absorption of the water from the ground, then even the oxygen and the carbon dioxide are also absorbed from the ground. In addition to that, there is a absorption of the carbon dioxide and the water from the environment. Then synthesis of the carbohydrate by the process of the photosynthesis. Then release of the water in the form of the water vapors, that is the transpiration. Then starch or the sugar storage in the different organs like the fruits and the seeds. So such type of the many things are included in the plant physiology that can be studied in it. Then water, solutions, suspension, and the colloidal system. So when we have to see the difference, that is the solution, then colloids and the suspension, then you will find that the basic difference, if we see the flashlight and will try to pass through these different contents, then you will find that it cannot be visible in a solution. Then it is visible in the colloids, and again it is greatly visible in the suspension. In addition to that, the particle size of the solution, colloids, and the suspension is again different. Then diffusion, osmosis, and the imbibition. Again, the plasmolysis is also included in this chapter. So when we are talking about the diffusion, it is nothing but the process of the transport of solid particles. See now, whenever we are talking about the diffusion, the transport of solid particles from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, that is known as the diffusion. So that we will see in a detail in the another lecture. Then the second one, that is the osmosis. And in osmosis, here there is a transport of the water, and this water is a solvent. So the transport of solvent particles from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration. So this is the opposite to each other. So when we will study the diffusion and the osmosis, you will be able to know very well, and how to remember that trick will also be given to you. Imbibition is nothing but the absorption or the adsorption of the water by the different components or the organic molecules which are present in the plant organs because of the presence of the water loving components. So this is just the soaked almond, and that is one of the best example of the imbibition. Then absorption of the water, whenever we are talking about the absorption of the water from the ground, then see this structure of the root. You know that the roots are responsible for the absorption of the water, but the whole structure of the root is not involved in the absorption of the water, but instead of only the particular part, that is the root hair zone, is involved in the absorption of the water. No doubt the little amount of the water is absorbed by the other part of the root, but maximum amount of the water is absorbed by the root hair zone. So this we will study in the absorption of the water. And here the diagram given that from the root hair, then the water enter inside the cortical region, then from the cortical region to the stellar region in the xylem directly, because here there are the presence of the passage cell, and the rest of the cells are provided with the Casparian strips on their radial as well as the tangential wall, and hence the water is pumped directly inside the xylem from the cortical region. So this will be studied in the upcoming lecture. Then transpiration, whenever we are talking about the transpiration, Transpiration is nothing but the process of the removal or the elimination of the water from the plant body in the form of the water vapors. And this is the experiment that when we have to cover the potted plant, then there is a release of the water vapors and that is deposited on this bell jar in the form of the water droplet. But when we are talking about the guttation is the different process, but again the same, that is the elimination of the water. Here in the transpiration, there is a release of the water vapors, while in the guttation, there is a release of the water drops. So when there is a release of the water in the form of the water drops through the vein endings like this one, so this is known as the guttation. Then ascent of sap. After the absorption of the water, there is a need of the water to each and every part of the body. And hence, after the absorption by the root, it is provided to the stem and the leaves also. As we know, the process of the photosynthesis is carried out by the leaves, and hence there is need of the water to the leaves. And hence, this water which is to be absorbed from the ground by the roots, it is transported up to the leaves, and that is known as the translocation of the water or transport of the water, and that is nothing but the ascent of sap. Then absorption of minerals. As I told you earlier, the absorption of the water and the mineral are two different processes. No doubt, very little amount of the minerals are absorbed with the water, but the absorption of the mineral is the different and independent process to that of the absorption of the water. So we will see the different theories which are present or given for the absorption of the different minerals from the ground. Then mineral nutrition in plants. We know every organism, that may the plant or that may the animal, it require the different components in the form of the food. That is the carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, etc. So here plants also require the minerals and they are absorbed from the ground. So how these minerals are absorbed from the ground, that we will see in the mineral nutrition and the absorption of the minerals. That is the role of the different minerals in the plant body. And if some of the minerals are found absent or in a less quantity, then what will be the symptoms? Then this will be included in this lecture. Then nitrogen and the sulfur metabolism. Here the diagram shows the nitrogen metabolism. After the absorption of the nitrogen, it is converted into the different components like the ethylene, then polyamines, indole acetic acid, then cytokinin and amino acids. In the similar manner, the different components which are absorbed or taken by the plants from the ground, and then they are utilized in the body, and that is nothing but the metabolism. Then enzymes, that is the type of enzyme, classification of the enzymes, then mechanism of action of the enzyme and the theories of the mechanism of the action, that is lock and key model and the endosphist model. So that will be included in the lectures on the enzyme. Then special mode of the nutrition, that is in addition to the absorption of the mineral water, then process of the photosynthesis. Here there is a absorption of the nitrogenous compounds from the other organisms like the insects. Means here the different plants are modified to trap the insects, and hence here this is known as the special method of the nutrition. That in this picture I have given the different plants which are modified for the trapping the insect to fulfill their nitrogen requirement. Then carbohydrate metabolism, means the carbohydrate which is present in the plant body, how it is to be utilized. Here you can see that the glucose first of all is converted into the glucose 6 phosphate and later on into the pyruvate, that is the two molecules of the pyruvate that we have seen in the glycolysis, also in the lower classes. Even the pyruvate later on enter in the TCA cycle, that is the Krebs cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle. So here again there is a formation of the energy, and in this way the carbohydrate is used. So this is given in the carbohydrate metabolism. Then fat or the lipid metabolism, that is the alpha oxidation, beta oxidation, and how the lipid molecules which are present in the plant body are utilized, that will be present in the metabolism. Then translocation of the organic solids. After the photosynthesis, there is a synthesis of the food material in the form of the carbohydrate, and later on, after synthesis, it is transported to each and every part of the body, because every cell need the food material or the organic solid for the synthesis of the energy. So from the leaf, it is provided to each and every organ of the body through the phloem. So how it is carried out, that will be given in this chapter. Then respiration. Whenever we are talking about the respiration, the definition says the process of oxidation of the complex organic compounds into the simple inorganic one with release of the energy. If you see this reaction, you will understand the meaning that the complex organic compound is oxidized into the simple inorganic compounds with release of the energy. So this is known as the respiration. So here in this process, the oxygen is taken and the carbon dioxide is released. Then the growth and the growth hormones. Here there are the different growth hormones, that is the gibberellin, auxin, cytokinin, ethylene, and abscisic acid, and how they are involved in the different processes in the life cycle of the plant body. So we will see this detail in the lecture on the growth and growth hormones. In photosynthesis, that is the process in which there is a formation of complex organic compounds from the simple inorganic compound in presence of light and chlorophyll. See now here, the simple inorganic compounds like the carbon dioxide and the water, in presence of the chlorophyll and the light, is converted into the complex organic compound, that is the C6H12O6, that is the glucose. So such type of the process is known as the photosynthesis. Whenever we are talking about the respiration or photosynthesis, then it is not the single step process. In photosynthesis, there are the different reactions, and again the different type of the reactions are carried out in the different plants, and again on the basis of that the plants are classified into the C3 plants, C4 plants, and crassulacean acid metabolism plants. In the similar manner, in the respiration is also a multiple step process, that is the glycolysis, oxidative decarboxylation, Krebs cycle, and the electron transport system. So in this way we can say that all these processes are step by step process, and the product we are getting, it is at the end. Then vernalization simply you can remember that it is a chilling treatment. So if there is a chilling treatment, then you can find the result. You can compare these two plants which are potted, one without chilling treatment and another one with the chilling treatment. Every plant do not require the chilling treatment, but some plants require the chilling treatment during the germination of the seed. Then germination and the seed dormancy. This is again one of the most important and the big topic. For the germination, there is a need to grow the embryo which is present inside the seed. But when the seed is viable, then also it is unable to germinate, even though we provide all the necessary conditions for the germination. So such a type of the phenomena is known as the seed dormancy, and the seed is known as the dormant seed. So we will see the different factors which are involved in the dormancy of the seed, and even the different methods to break the seed dormancy in this lecture. Then plant movement. During the earlier classes, you might have learned the basic difference in between the plant and the animal, and that is the plants are not movable and the animals are movable. But that is actually not the difference in between these two, because even there are the many plants which are lower plants that can move from one place to the another plant. So if you see the basic difference in between the plants and the animal, that is only the presence and absence of the cell wall. If cell wall is present, then it is plant, and if cell wall is absent, then it is animal. So again, though the plants which are present at one particular place, then also they show the movement, and on the basis of type of movement they are classified. There is a classification of the plant movement that we will see in this lecture. These are some of the types, that is the thigmotropism, hydrotropism, then phototropism, then geotropism, chemotropism. See the deposition of the pollen grain on the stigma, and then there is a chemical reaction or the recognition in between them. Then the nastic movement, that is Mimosa pudica, touch me not plant. So such type of the different type of the movements are present in the plants that we will see in this lecture. In circadian rhythms, that the plants are also showing the response to the length of the day and length of the night. So if you see these two diagram, that is this is a daytime and this is a night time. So you are able to observe and see the leaves as well as the flowers in this plant. So such a type of the rhythmic changes with respect to the light or the length of the day and night, and that comes under the circadian rhythms. Then stress physiology, the many different components which are present in the environment or around us, which are adversely affect on the plant, and even they are providing the many functions also. Just here the diagram is given for the water stress. No doubt, without water there is not the possibility of the life on the earth. But when we are talking about the stress of the water, at that time there is a response by the plant, and which type of the response is showing that the increased secondary metabolite biosynthesis, then decrease photosynthesis response and the pigmentation. So such a type of the then stomatoclosure. So such type of the many responses are shown to the different environmental condition like the light, water, temperature, etc. Such a type of the types we will study in the stress physiology. Even some of the lectures on the stress physiology are also delivered by Dr. Deepak Koche and are available on our YouTube channel. Then secondary metabolites, very commonly whenever we are talking about the secondary metabolites, then secondary metabolites are those compounds which are synthesized by the plants but they are not routinely used. But whenever we are seeing the function of these different secondary metabolites, actually they are using for the defense mechanism. So here these are the some of examples, that is the terpenes, glucosinolates, phenolics, etc. These are some of the examples of the secondary metabolites, and that we will see in the upcoming lecture. Then photomorphogenesis, we know that the light is playing an important role in synthesis of the food material by all the autotrophic organisms of the universe. Without light, it is not possible to produce the carbohydrate. But in addition to that, there is a lot of different functions of the light related to that of the growth and development of the organism. Some of the functions are given here, that is the germination, de-etiolation, then inhibition of the stem and the petiole elongation, then chloroplast development, chlorophyll biosynthesis, leaf expansion, branching, flowering, and senescence. So such many things are controlled by the light, and that comes under the photomorphogenesis. Then bioinergetics. The bioinergetics is nothing but the topic related to that of the energy. That is the production of energy, storage of energy, and the utilization of the energy. And we know the energy which is produced stored and utilized, that is the ATP in the plants and the animal. So how these are produced, stored and transported or utilized, that we will study in the bioenergetics. So in this way, we will study the different topics from the plant physiology one by one in this lecture series. So friends, in next lecture, we will study the diffusion. So you can watch that lecture and decide that this lecture series will be helpful to you or not. And if you are getting benefited through these different lectures which are available on your YouTube channel, then kindly like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel Botany for You. And also press bell icon for the alerts of different lectures to be uploaded on different life sciences titles. Thank you very much for your complete watching of this lecture. Thanks a lot once again.